Welcome. So what is the purpose of these videos? The purpose is to prove that one good trading strategy will appear over and over again in the markets. But to have three that appear over and over again, that's more than anyone can ask for. It's more trading opportunities than you can imagine. Let me continue to prove this to you. Then you can continue to prove it to yourself. And then you will be amazingly successful. Now let's go into the lesson. Today's lesson is going to focus on a very important activity that you as a trader need to become involved in on a weekly basis. And that's going back over the previous week, at the end of the week, and see if there were any possible trades that you might have missed. It's a very important exercise for your long-term success. So we're going to look for trading strategy number one, the MACD divergence across the same markets we usually focus on, just very quickly. So down here, do we see any trading strategy number ones? No, so we didn't miss any this past week. So now let's go to the Aussie Swiss. Any trading strategy number ones down here? Yes, on the 2-hour chart there were. Price went lower, MACD's waving higher. We have nested bullish divergence, but it hasn't triggered yet. So it's still there, but hasn't triggered. Then over here on the daily chart, as we had mentioned, we had some, and the question would be, were we able to get into this? Did we use the tools that we train you with to get into that? So that not only set up, but it also triggered, meaning that the trade should have been entered. Now that's going to take us over to the Aussie Kiwi. You can see that there is an instance of bullish MACD divergence here, but it has not been triggered yet. It's set up, but it's not triggered. And remember, it's important from your lessons to take away the 3 phases of a trade. And then as we look at the 8-hour and the daily, there was nothing there this past week for us to have missed. Let's move over to the Australian dollar. Was there anything for us to miss on the 2-hour? No. The 8-hour, no. The daily, yes. There was some bearish MACD divergence, meaning that the expectation was for price to go down. So trading strategy number one, set up and triggered. Again, triggered being the trade should have been activated. So now let's move over to the Dow. There was nothing on the 2-hour, nothing on the 8-hour, and on the daily chart, we still want to keep this in mind because price went higher, the MACD's lower, it's set up, but again, the key point, the trade has not been triggered in this case. So we want to make sure that that's on our radars. Let's take a look at the Euro CAD. There was nothing on the 2-hour this past week, nothing on the 8-hour, and nothing on the daily. So we didn't miss anything on that. That's good. Let's take a look at the Euro Swiss. There was nothing on the 2-hour. Now it looks like there might have been. MACD went higher, but price did not go lower. So there was no trading strategy number one. Nothing on the 8-hour for us to have missed. Now again, price has gone higher, the MACD is lower, and this trade has just triggered, right? It just triggered at the end of the week, making it active. So was that something that we missed? Now, if we're not in that trade, and it's something that we regularly watch, this is where we have to say, why did I miss that? Especially on a daily chart, because that's moving so slow. We could have seen this as, we've seen this set up for almost a week, and it just finally triggered. That's super slow. Plenty of time for us to react and take the right actions and use the tools that we teach you to enter trades. Let's take a look at the Euro Pound. There was nothing on the 2-hour. There were some questions about this that were sent in, but remember the MACD crossed over the center line here, so that made that invalid, right? So from here to here would not be MACD divergence, even though price moved lower. It's invalidated by it crossing over the center line. Now, however, price did move lower here, and the MACD slightly did move higher here. That was a valid instance. So sometimes we're looking for this, we see this bigger picture, and that's actually invalid. and we missed the small, quiet, valid instance in setup. So again, the question is, did we miss it? So on the 8-hour, price went lower, the MACD went higher, bullish, MACD divergence, bullish trading strategy number 1, bullish meaning we're expecting an upward move in price, and it was there. And there was nothing on the daily chart. So let's move down to the Euro Yen. There was nothing on the 2-hour, nothing on the 8-hour. And again, as we've commented, there's nothing on the daily because even though price has gone higher here and the MACD's lower, here we had a cross over the center line and validating it. Let's take a look at the euro dollar. There was nothing on the 2-hour this past week, nothing on the 8-hour, and on the daily on the euro dollar, we did get triggered into this bearish MACD divergence, bearish trading strategy number 1, meaning we're expecting price to move down. And then let's just take a quick look at oil. On the 2-hour, we had price move higher, the MACD was lower, and we had to spike down. Now this was a tough trade, but it did trigger the entry. It did meet the rules, but this was also right near the end of the week, and that was just a solid move down and no continuation. Still would have been triggered on the entry. The key that we want to have right now is, did we see that? Either in one of the 3 phases, developing, setup, or triggered. On the 8-hour, there was nothing, and on the daily, there's nothing. So we didn't look at all of the elements today, but this is what you should be doing at the end of the week. As you can see from the length of this video, it doesn't take a lot of time, but it's a very important exercise, because if you do miss something, then it begs to ask the question, why did I miss it? Which then begs the question to be more successful. How do I prevent missing it in the future? Thanks for spending some time with me in today's session. So do we have to trade everything, for example, like we looked at today? No, just follow a few things. Following just a few markets using 3 different strategies will keep you focused and free. You will never lack for opportunities in the market knowing all 3 strategies. When we do find a trade opportunity, what do? We prepare for it. How do we prepare for it? How are we going to enter? How are we going to exit? Have we prepared for both sides of the trade? We will never have to do more than answer the questions for those things the rest of our lives. How cool is that? Well, that's going to bring this session to a wrap. But do me a favor, and do a lot of other people a favor. Help us change the way the world learns to trade and understand the financial markets. Let's simplify it down to just a few things we need to know to follow to be able to make money and protect our capital. If you haven't already, please visit our Facebook page and give us a like there. Search for our channel on YouTube, Train Your Brain Trading, and watch for the continuous content we continue to put there. Thanks for spending some time in this session with me today. And if you can, promote these materials so that together we can change the way the world trades.